Hello? Yes! Yes! Can you see? Oh, say, can you see all the stuff in my kitchen? Hey, hey! Hi, yes, it's Alison Arngrim in the kitchen again with Who's Going to Do the Cooking. Hey. Tilty, tilty, tilt-a-whirl. That looks good. I'm going to go up a bit. So, some of you saw I posted that sour cream coffee cake. And I was going on about Mary Margaret Phalon. Seriously, sour cream, hey. So, the deal is, this is the craziest story. So, my friend Sharon, and well, her sister's Brenda, my friend Brenda, who you see Brenda posting a lot on my page. So, Brenda and Arlene and Sharon and Sally. This is the four girls. So, their mom, Mary Margaret Phalon. Yes, Boston cake, yeah. So, Mary Margaret Phalon's mother, she was an amazing cook. Now, my friend Sharon, who I hung out with, she didn't cook at all. So her mother didn't really give her the recipes, so she gave them to me. The other girls had the recipes, but I got the recipes. I don't know that Sharon had ever made the coffee cake. She loved the coffee cake, though. So I made the coffee cake and went, look, I made you your mother's coffee cake. It's very handy. It's so good. It is such a good recipe. Apparently there was an apple cake. Brenda is telling me there was an apple cake, and she's going to give me that recipe, and we need to do the apple cake that her mom made. So, yes, this is the infamous cake. And now, this woman was a riot. We used to joke about her vacuuming in pearls and call her Donna Reed, but you know, she actually did. She did. She was like the Donna Reed show. She was like, oh dear. And we all would do impressions of her, which was like terrible. But she used to crack us up. Oh, she made this great coffee cake. She made all sorts of cool things. So the famous Mrs. Phalon's coffee cake. It's like, I was like, the Mrs. Phalon's coffee cake. No, with the sour cream or the apples. The sour cream. Oh my God. So it's got cinnamon and walnuts and sour cream. And things are optional. You don't like walnuts, you don't have to do the walnuts. But they make a nice crunchy streusel on top thing. So, got my bonnet apron. So what we're doing is, you need a lot of bowls, because you have to mix different ingredients, the dry ingredients and the whatnot ingredients, you know, it's that kind of thing. So I'm going to tilt her down just a bit. There you go. You can do this all with, like, spoon or spatula. I do have my ancient Annie Marion's Black & Decker mixer guy, because it's amazing. And, of course, I have sour cream, and I have walnuts, and I have cinnamon, and I also have a little bit of pumpkin pie spice, just for heck of it. So, what are we doing? Now, here's the other thing. Mrs. Phalon grew up at a time where people had to, like, lie about their recipes. Like, seriously, what? Yes, back in the oldie days, like Ma Ingalls days, where it was very important for these women to have these recipes that no one else could have. They're going to get a man by cooking. Like, passed down from the 17 and 1800s. And there was an era, it went on for a really long time. There's still some older women, it's like, I can't give you the recipe. Or they changed something on the recipe when they typed it up, because that's what they wanted to know. I have found that, I think she left something out. I put in like 2 tablespoons of water in it just to make it a little moister, because I swear I think she left something out. The other thing is, she tells you how to make this topping with walnut, sugar, and cinnamon. And then it says, mix in the topping. Now, we all know if you mix in the topping, it's not topping. I mean, the cinnamon and walnuts aren't all going to magically float to the top. Then it's not topping. What you want to do, actually, is mix in just a little bit, because then you get like a little strip of streusel, little walnuts and cinnamon in it. But what you want to do is, just you put it in the oven, is dump the streusel-y stuff on top. And not mix it, because then it's the streusel on top. I think it needs a little butter in the streusel, too. Just saying. So, the first thing you want to do is, with all cakes, butter, sugar, eggs, and in this case, sour cream. And it's usually butter, sugar, eggs, vanilla. This is butter, sugar, eggs, sour cream, and vanilla. So where are we getting butter? So butter. Now the first thing it says is a half a cup of butter. You don't really have to measure, because a stick is always a half a cup. It says it on the little piece of paper. I softened this up earlier, so it's kind of a mess. I should have just gotten it out of the fridge like hours before. That would have been the correct thing to do. But instead, I just shoved it in the microwave. But it doesn't matter. Cookies or pie crust you need your shortening your butter to be firm enough to do things. Cake, some cakes even use vegetable oil. They so like don't even care. So it can be a little goopy for cake. So what we want is this here butter. I'm actually saving just the teensiest bit of butter here for the streusel. So butter. Then it says sugar. Now it says 1 cup of sugar. Howsoever, I'm making up words, I know. I am going to mix brown sugar and white sugar because I love brown sugar. And it gives it, since you got brown sugar, it gives you that, you want brown sugar. I use brown sugar in the streusel. I use brown sugar in the cake. And that, of course, is half cup. Half cup each. That way you get your whole cup of sugar, because it is really sweet. Yes, you want a whole cup of sugar. But I love putting brown sugar in it. I'm going to take a little guy, little cup. Scrape. Scrapey, scrapey. When you get out, yeah, there it is. Get your brown sugar. We'll make a nice big mess. We are. Yes. So, you pack. Brown sugar's so weird. You pack it, and then you want it loose in the bowl. But there, look, there was a half cup of brown sugar. Then, I'll take and a half cup of white sugar, which we just spilled. See, there you go. That top does not do it. Okay. There you go. Done. Now, let's set this aside. La la la. What goes in the streusel? The streusel needs 1/4 to a half a cup of sugar. That's rather vague. I'm going to put my streusel in here real quick. 1/4 to a half a cup. And I'm making the streusel totally brown sugar. So I can put 1/4 and I'll leave another 1/4 there. Brown sugar. Set that aside. Tra la 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 la. Now what? Besides the fact that I just made a giant mess. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Throw the sugar in the sink. Okay. So, butter, sugar. Yay. Then what happens? You got butter, sugar, eggs, sour cream. Eggs. 2 eggs. That's 1 and 2. This ready? Oh, where's the sour cream? And the vanilla. Let's put the vanilla in. Because the vanilla will help make it go over. Vanilla. That's a lot of vanilla. A teaspoon. Kind of everything in this recipe is a teaspoon. So look, it's a teaspoon. Where's my teaspoon? My teaspoon fell off. I hate when that happens. No! Where's my teaspoon fell off? I can't help that. Seriously? I got this cute little Goo-Gah thing and my teaspoon fell off. There's my teaspoon. Not a tablespoon. A tablespoon of vanilla would be way too much. Teaspoon. Da-da-da, and you can hold it over a bowl. Don't hold it over the bowl that you're trying to not dump the whole thing in. Hold it over a different bowl. There's a teaspoon. La. Done and done. Tra-la-la-la-la. Great. So, I'm going to start mixing that up. Get the butter and the sugar going. Oh, yeah. And that's the thing, like if we were making cookies, that would be cool. We would be like, creaming the butter and the sugar. And it is. It's doing its thing. See? Mix and mix it. But where it's really going to get good is, of course, when we add, come on, you. Come on, y'all. 1. Now, I don't do this as well as Percival did on the show. I am good at cracking the eggs with one hand and getting them in there. But I'm not as perfect as Percival. Every now and then I go, oh, shell. I have to like grab a microscopic piece of shell out. Yeah, I know. Percival could do it. And Steve Tracy could really do it. Steve, who played Percival, he actually could do that. He could separate eggs with one hand. He could actually do it. Not everyone can do that. I can't even do that. But he can totally do it. So, eggs. Now, sour cream. 1 cup. Really? Yes. So, what... I know, and then becomes like, is that liquid measure or is that dry measure? It doesn't say. But I'm going to go with sour cream is mighty liquidy. Look at that there. So I'm going to say it's liquid measure. Spoon. Spoon! Big spoon. Where's my head there? Spoon. Okay. And we're going to dump a bunch of. Well, like I said, with the butter, it's easy because a stick of butter is a half cup. Wow, look at that. Is that a cup? That's about a cup. I got a little more. Like I said, I like it moist, and also the sour cream is delicious. So that's actually a little more. Looks like a cup to me. So let's get those eggs and vanilla mixed in. Brown sugar broken up. Looking very good. Let's put the sour cream back in the fridge. We'll make other things out of it this week. Yeah, so now we dump the onion. Cooking with sour cream, it's a little like when Ma Ingalls was making the buttermilk, the sour milk biscuits, putting vinegar and milk so it was sour. It's very old-fashioned. We think of it as flavoring, and it is flavoring, and it is delicious. But in the oldie days, making a cake using sour cream, it was so that stuff would rise. The sourness mixed with the baking powder would make stuff activate things and make it rise. There you go. Hence sourdough and all that. So that's probably where they originally got the idea to put sour cream in cake. But now we do it just because it's freaking delicious. So. Yeah. Oh, look at that. Looks freaking delicious. About dry ingredients. Dry ingredients, yes. So, of course, we're going to need flour. I mean, it's a freaking cake, right? So, we need 2 cups. 2 cups flour. Big cup. 2 cups of flour. Again, like try to pour it over the bowl that you're not using for anything. You want that spare bowl. This is the spare bowl to hold things over. Because otherwise, if you're holding them over the thing you're using, you're just going to put too much in your thing. There you go, see? 1. Tra-la-la. 2. And this is a classic thing. Anytime you're making a cake or pretty much any of these things from scratch, you're doing it mixing the dry ingredients separately. Wet ingredients, dry ingredients. Wet ingredients, dry ingredients. You mix the wet ingredients, you mix the dry ingredients, and then you mix the 2 of them. It's a thing. Go away. Now, the fun part. How do we make a cake rise? Well, we're not making it with yeast. We're getting out our magic teaspoon that just had vanilla in it, and I'm wiping it off. Because now we're going to put a teaspoon of baking powder. And yes, like the Prairie. Look, it's like very little house in the break. Clabber Girl, a very popular brand of baking powder. But this is weird because it's baking powder and baking soda. Many recipes are just baking soda or just baking powder. This weirdly is baking powder and baking soda, which you don't see that often. And it is literally 1 teaspoon each, baking powder, baking soda. Now, when it comes to salt, you don't want a lot of salt. It's not for flavor. Again, it's for leavening. It's not like we're trying to make salty cake. So, it's tiny. It's a ½ teaspoon. Where's the half? Look how little that is. Tiny little guy. ½ teaspoon. Again, using a thing to pour it over so we don't mess stuff up. Just barely. Because it's all about leavening. Now, here's the weird part. In the topping, it says cinnamon. But, what, no cinnamon in the cake? Of course there's cinnamon in the cake. Like I said, Mrs. Phalon altered the recipe when she gave it to people so they wouldn't make the same cake and steal her man. Because you could steal her man if you had the better recipe. Too freaking funny. So, we are going to add a little bit, just a little, cinnamon to the dry ingredients. We are going to add, because I like it, a little pumpkin pie spice. Not too much, just because it's, you know, fall. I like pumpkin pie. There, that's going to make it taste extra super good. And we're going to mix those a bit, not a lot. There, down in the mix. Now, those are going to mix and go in the pan, but we're going to want the streusel ready right away. So, let's put this flour back. I didn't get anything in it. There. What goes in streusel? Brown sugar goes in streusel. And, like I said, I'm going to put a little butter in the streusel. Walnuts. Now, wait a minute. Walnuts, yeah. Oh, cinnamon. Again, teaspoon cinnamon. Very careful with the measuring here again. Just a bit. Tap, tap, tap. There you go. Come on. This is very, very delicate work. Oh, I did it. There you go. Boom, cinnamon. Again, dash of pumpkin pie spice, because why not? So, walnuts. Now, you don't want big whole walnuts, do you? You don't look at these. These are lovely. These are lovely and delicious. Obviously, if you're allergic to nuts, no, don't do that. So, don't eat them if you're allergic to nuts. Take your nuts, and what does it say? About a half a cup. In this case, I'm going to say, yeah, close enough. But wait, why am I putting the nuts in a Ziploc? Because we need them crushed. We need them crushed. How do we crush them? Well, you can place them in here. You can put them in a food processor. But who needs that? You can put them in a food processor, or you can roll them with a rolling pin, or my method, because it's more fun. This is the super easy method of how do you crush walnuts. You seal the bag thoroughly, and then you drop it on the floor, and you step on it. Yes, that's right. I'm stomping on a bag of walnuts. Hold on, wait. Zoom in on the crushed walnuts, please. Thank you. Can you see them? Yes, here. Do you see my foot? Totally works. Stomp. I love it. Yes. So you stomp all over them. Of course, if you don't want to stomp on your nuts, you can also crush them with a bowl or a pan. You can also put them on the counter and take something like your cake pan and go. Perfect! That's the best part of the recipe. That's my favorite part. And then you take these and you dump them into the bowl with the, put that out of the way. Sit down here. Streusel! Yeah! Now see, you have streusel, and it's brown sugar and crushed walnuts and cinnamon. I think it needs butter, so I'm gonna, at the last minute, I'll put this in the microwave and make butter. Melted butter. Now, I have all these pans. What kind of pan are we putting this in when we do it? Now, the way I've done it for years is I've been using this, my dad's old angel food pan, and it's great because it puffs up and the thing, and then it's easy to pop out, and then the streusel's on top, and it's fabulous. Now, I have a, Bob just got me new ones, ooh, fancy nonstick. But you don't have to. If you don't have one of these, that's fine. Brenda, who was just talking about making it in a bundt pan, you can make it in a bundt pan, but you know what else? You can put it in loaf pans. I got two in there. You can put it in loaf pans. And you know what else you can do? And Brenda just suggested this on my page the other day. Cupcakes! Cupcakes! You can pour it into big cupcake tins like muffins and have coffee cake cinnamon, Mrs. Phalon's cinnamon sour cream coffee cake with streusel on top. Muffins. Completely fine. Any pan you want. It doesn't matter. So, you can put it in anything. Now we're going to do the fun part. Wait, I need hot because it needs butter melted. La, 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 la. Melt butter. Yeah. That's going to take like 2 seconds. We're not melting that butter long. Heavens to Betsy now. Let's get going here. La 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 la. Yeah, it's very melted. So here's our lovely wet ingredients again. Scrapey, scrapey, scrapey. Whip. And remember, I also said I like a tiny bit of water because I think it needs a little tiny bit of water. That's it. This often happens. A lot of cakes sometimes, especially, you know, high altitude. I'm at a high altitude up here. Sometimes you want a little teeny bit more. And I mean teeny bit. Teeny bit. More of water and milk. It helps it blend well, and it makes sure that you don't have dry cake, because that would be bad. So, now we're going to add the dry ingredients, but it's not like the fancy recipes. You have to add a little at a time. Literally, I just dumped the dry ingredients in like that, and it's fine. So, mixa, mixa, mixa. You see that there? Good mixa. And then, look at that. It's beautiful. Now, what about the oven? Now, my insane, overly hot oven, I didn't really preheat it. Just going to turn it on. The recipe says 350 for 55 minutes. That's a really long time. So I'm going to, like, my oven, I've already set it for 325, but it's 350 degrees. That's what you want the oven at, which is reasonable for a coffee cake. And why? 55, it's a big cake, and it is. It's kind of a slow cooking thing, and you wind up with it in there for a really, really long time. Now, what am I going to do with all of this gorgeous cake batter? I'm going to put it in this gorgeous pan. Now, this pan is certainly advertised as a non-stick, but you know me. Look at this. I got this Pam stuff, and it's got perfect release. It's the oil with flour, like, you know, when you grease and flour a pan. This will grease, and I do it around the round thing just in case it sticks there. It'll be totally fine. Woo! But there you go. I've now magically greased and floured the pan without hardly touching it. That's perfect. Get off there. Get off. Perfect. There, stick. Now, this is where it gets exciting! Yes. Ba, ba, ba. Tilt. Tilt to whirl. See the pan? Can you see the pan? You can see the pan totally, yeah. Good. I really got to get, like, somebody with a steady cam to follow me around here. Okay. Look at that. Don't dump it in the middle, in the ring. It goes in the pan. Yes. Nice and thick. Look at that. Ooh. La, 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 la. Da, da, da. Blurg. Cream. It's got eggs. It's got flour. It's got sugar. Everything in the whole world. It's great. It's great. It's great. Tasting it. Not supposed to, but I do. Scrapey, scrapey, scrapey. More scrapey. Still more scrapey. And scrapey. Scrape. Scrape. Get it all. Juice and eggs. There we go. Scrapey and scrapey. And now I'm going to kind of spread it around in the pan so it's even. Now it looks like, what, there's hardly anything in there. It will puff up. And if you have a really, really big pan, maybe you want to double the recipe. I don't know. Wait, where's my magic butter? Or my magic streusel? Here it is. I'm going to add a little butter to this streusel mixture. Now I am going to take a little of the streusel mixture here, and what we're going to do, we've mixed it with butter now, so it's, yes, it'll be sticky and delicious and lovely. I'm going to take this streusel, and you see we're just dumping it all over the thing on the top. Now, here's where it gets exciting. You can take a knife or your thing here and kind of go once around, do this. So it's kind of, there's a little bit of it in the cake-ish, like that. But not all of it. And then most of it, though, is to be on top of the cake. Ta-da! And now I'm going to stick this in the oven. Boom! In it goes. Okay, tasted really good when I just tasted it. Nom, nom, nom. So, it's in the oven. at middle rack, 350 degrees. Now, what? That's going to take 55 minutes. We're not going to sit there for 55 minutes and wait for cake, are we? No, we're not. Because, of course, like a cooking show, I already made one. You knew I already made one, right? I mean, you saw this coming, didn't you? Of course you did. Taking bowls away. Tra-la-la. So, now, okay, now the problem is you see there's a lot of loose streusel. It can get very messy. Loose streusel on your cake. I'm going to get your plate. Plate. This is totally going to be messy. I almost want to do it over the sink. Wait, I have one of my bowls. Let me get my, where's my bowl for mess? There we go. Yeah, giant bowl for mess. For when we take it out and get streusel all over everything. So take this out and yes, over a bowl for mess. Come on, y'all. Oh, it is. It's popping right out. And onto the plate. Look at that. Yes, it is as good as it looks. It's amazing. Knife. Knife. Now, as you can see, it's gorgeous. Is this gorgeous? Look at this. Look at this. Big, round streusel cake, hole in the middle. Look at that. So like I said, loaf pan and cut slices like that. Mini individual muffins, cupcakes. You can put it in any pan you want, really. But we like this big old pan. Cut a slice. See. Oh! Look at that. You can see there's little bits, and like I said, little bits of walnuts. I like the walnuts on top. Yes, you can put more crushed walnuts in your cake. If you like walnuts in your cake, I like the walnuts on top. But definitely a little brown sugar and cinnamon in the cake. Oh my God. Oh, okay. I'm freaking out. Do you remember in school they had that coffee cake? If you grew up in LA, the LA public school system had a coffee cake. It almost tastes like that. It's so rich and dense and buttery and cinnamony. And the streusel on top. Streusel. Moist. Oh yes, I said moist. It's so moist. It is amazing. It is moist. It is soft. It is chewy. It's so buttery and cinnamony. You can put more nuts. You can put no nuts at all. Duh, if you're allergic to nuts, just cinnamon and the brown sugar and cinnamon. You could use different nuts. You know, I bet pecans would be freaking amazing. Could totally do that. The streusel, cake streusel. See, it's nice. It's very even. It's brown. See that weird stuff I put on the pan didn't stick to it at all. Yes. And that. This, yes, Mrs. Phalon really typed this up on a piece of paper. She had a little recipe file. And this literally when she said, Dear, here's the recipe for the sour cream coffee cake. Dear, cool beans, wicked, it's wicked coffee cake from Boston. That's how she gave me the recipe. Yeah, and Sharon said, you be careful, she leaves stuff out. You know she leaves stuff out. And so I made it a couple times, and then I figured it out. And Brenda's going to get me the apple, her mother's apple coffee cake recipe, and we'll try that too. So there you go. Who's going to do the cooking? Duh, probably you, because it's that easy. Oh no, what? Arlene is watching. Arlene! Did I get it right? Did I get it right, Arlene? Is this it? It tastes like it. So yeah. Yeah, it's wicked. Arlene. Bob just came in with a piece of paper. Arlene's watching! So there you are. Who's going to do the cooking? Well, it can be you, because it's just not hard. It's not hard. It is so easy. Look how easy that was. There's Arlene. Yes, he says totally. It's totally. This is exactly. It is the coffee cake, and I'm gonna make the apple too. And Arlene, if you have any recipes squirreled away that Brenda didn't get that I don't know about, send them. So there you go. Lunch lady coffee cake. That is how you make Mrs. Phalon's sour cream cinnamon coffee cake. And this has been Who's Going to Do the Cooking. And I love doing this so much. And I'll see you like at long time no see. I'm going to see you at 1:30 because Dean has gone to do things. You know, Dean and his wife, they're going out of town. He and Catherine are going to go out of town. So I am going to start reading some of Long Winter this afternoon. So see you then. Bye.